This world shall know pain. Almighty push.
Alright y'all, so the last time we left off, Ivanka bid his farewell to both Kuma and Jenny. Once they all said their goodbyes, both Kuma and Jenny was living their life as peaceful as possible. They even got to eat until they was full, and it definitely was a good thing to see, I'm not gonna lie, because they was going through it. But besides all of that, the episode begins and we time skip 8 years after the God Valley incident. I still can't believe Oda trolled us like that, bro, but it's all good. As long as he show us later on down the line, I'll take that. But anywho, we now see that Kuma is a pastor at 17 years old, and I find that very fitting for him because why? He grew up in a church. I mean, it makes sense. Kuma always wanted to make people happy, and one of those ways was helping these old people with their back pain. Kuma was like, F all of those pain pills, I got y'all. All y'all need is just one little tap and y'all good. But you see, these old cougars was getting a bit too ahead of themselves. This old dude was talking about some, hey Kuma, can you do this for us on a weekdays? Because if y'all didn't know, Kuma only does his treatment to them on Sundays. So if you ask me, they was getting a bit too greedy. So that's why Jenny stepped in and was like, oh hell nah, y'all not about to be using my boy Kuma like that. But I guess it's not really their fault because they don't know what happened behind closed doors after he used that ability on them. But we'll get to that when we get to that. For now, let's just continue. So Jenny was like, no, just Sundays. And these old people were just making fun of her, talking about some, you're so mean, Jenny, just laughing at her and all that. And then they started teasing her, telling her that how she liked Kuma and stuff. She was over here blushing and shit. And given the fact that Jenny is now my age around this time, I could confidently say she's a baddie.
Approved!
But let's forget about all of that for a second. But as these old cougars was laughing, tell me why I found out that Muriel is actually in One Piece, bro. Y'all can't tell me this doesn't look like her for real. Where Courage at? Or better yet, where the grandpa at that be like, you stupid dog, you made me look bad. Anywho, let me stop fucking around. We later cut to Jenny crying because she knows what Kuma goes through after he heals these people. Where y'all think all of that pain go? I mean, we already know somebody has to take that pain. Like for example, we all know what happened to Zoro when he took Luffy pain on Thriller Bark. Y'all know one of the most greatest moments that Zoro had. Like, if I'm not mistaken, ain't bro died from that, but his soul got lost, so he just went back into his body? Something that only Zoro can do. So seeing the fact that Kuma was putting himself through that same harsh treatment, you can see why Jenny was sad and was so defensive about him doing this. Because at the end of the day, he's the one that's really going through the most pain. But speaking of pain, I forgot to mention to y'all that they have this new king called Bakori, and they say he's a cold and heartless person. But not only that, the reason why they always came to Kuma to get healed and stuff, because if they fall ill and can't pay that tribute, they will get locked up, or better yet, become slaves. And look how old these people are. They shouldn't even be working. So that tells you he really is a cold-hearted person, and ugly as hell too. Okay, cool, now y'all know all of that. Once Kuma was done resting from the pain he had to endure, we see both Kuma and Jenny enjoying their food together. But I'm not gonna lie, somebody hand my boy Kuma a bigger sandwich than that, because he gonna need way more than that to fill him up. Pause.
You always getting full. What the hell are you talking about, bro? Bro, what the f is you even talking about, bro?
Next, we time skip ahead again, and this time Kuma is 22 now, and we still see that both him and Jenny is still having a good time together. Both of them just going to enjoy some coffee and just chilling. But as they was just chilling, Jenny decided to make a big step and ask Kuma, do he want to get married? And you see, Kuma would be very delighted to get married with her. But the thing is, he just doesn't want history to repeat itself. Let's just say both of them have a child. That child is going to have Buccaneer blood, and with that being the case, do I really gotta say the rest? We all know about what happened. And besides all of that, Kuma doesn't want Jenny to go through all of that. That's the reason why he said, I don't want you to be unhappy. But of course, with Jenny not being able to understand the situation, that led her to be unhappy. Kuma changed the subject and ends up talking about the freedom fighters. To put it into short terms, they are a group of people that just helps out people that's in need, and Kuma admired them for that, especially Dragon. He even said said one day he wanted to devote his life and try to do the same thing basically. He wants to save as many people as possible, just like Nika. Then a few seconds later, some of Kuma's friends pulled up. Y'all know those little kids that was peeking at Kuma? Yes, that's them when they all grown up. And I'm not gonna lie, I'ma just keep it real. They chop as hell. Also, these the same people that was a part of Bonnie crew. Crazy, huh? But besides all of that, they came here to bring my boy Kuma some food. Kuma thanks them, and then Jenny throws a basket at Kuma's head. And I really don't have to say the reason why she did that. You can just tell by the way she's looking. Next we time skip 3 more years and now Kuma is 25. But Kuma's age right now is the least of our concern. Y'all know those old people that Kuma used to just help out all the time? They have now been kidnapped. And for some reason, the king ended up changing the law, which allowed these royal guards to be able to use these people from the south however they see fit. Doesn't that sound crazy? You best believe Kuma was pissed because he didn't want to see these innocent people get turned into slaves. He already went through it as a kid, so he was getting ready to crash out on them. And honestly, this is probably the first time we ever even saw Kuma get this angry. So you already know shit about to pop off. With that being said, Kuma started attacking them, giving them the work. I don't know what they thought they was gonna do, but I guess people can dream, right? Once Kuma took most of them out, I'm gonna kill you. But that right there was the worst thing you could say to him. Look at Kuma's face, he just furious. Kuma begins to make this huge paw, everything like that one episode from SpongeBob. And then after that, he hits them with a almighty push. Chat, y'all know what this means, right? Never mess with the quiet guy. You see, messing with the quiet guy can always lead up into something you don't want to be into. Why, you ask? Even though nobody asked me to explain this, I'll tell you why. Quiet guys just be chill as fuck. They really don't be doing nothing for real. They really just be in their own world. But as soon as you piss them off, they become a whole completely different person that you made them out to be. So moral of the story, just leave the quiet people alone. Look at me trying to be all inspirational and shit. But anyways, we got to Bakori, or however you say this ugly ass nigga name. And basically his plan was to just cut off the south side of the country and only focus on the north. He see the south side as dead weight, and he feel if he does this, this will make them rich in the long run. Next after we cut to the prison cell that Kuma went in. And when he walked in, he noticed Jenny and the others was there as well. It turns out they end up running amok as well. They also couldn't just stand there and watch people suffer. And as you can see, they was very happy about what they did. So W them for stepping in for the people. Kuma was still furious about this situation though. He was like, just because you're living in the south, you will be enslaved. This country is turning into a place where poor people has to suffer harsh discrimination. Jenny tells Kuma that Bakori is just a celestial dragon puppet, and they was the one that gave him the idea to even do this. It's always something with the celestial dragons, huh? Y'all already know how much I can't stand them. But eventually the freedom fighters started to run amok, and they was deep as hell. They was out here shooting everybody that needs to be shot. Dude open the door, talk about some, Your Majesty, pow 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 pow. He's down. Like I'm telling you, they wasn't wasting no time. Once they did that, they surrounded the king with the pole in his face and swords. They was not playing with bro. It also turns out that Ivankov is a part of the freedom fighters, and my boy was like, I ain't letting you escape, you stupid celestial dragon wannabe. Speaking of dragon, Dragon was with him as well. Now thanks to them, Sorbet Kingdom is in good hands. After that, Ivankov and Dragon pulls up on Kuma and Jenny, and with them not seeing Ivankov for a long time, you best believe they was happy to see her. I was just about to say her, but then again, it's a she, him. So does it really matter? Also, this was Kuma's first time seeing Dragon. So when he see him, you best believe he was shocked. But besides all of that, Ivankov was like, are you still the same person you were before? If so, come join us. Kuma didn't waste no time to accept that invitation. And wherever Kuma goes, you know Jenny gon' follow. The freedom fighters who transformed people angry at the government into protesters decided to take up arms in response to the advent of the pirate era and the tragedy of Ora, or however you said, bro. I be fucking up on how to say that. Now adding Kuma into the mix, they finally made it into the Revolutionary Army, which will become infamous throughout the world. We later on cut to Dragon and the others, and basically Dragon was telling them they gonna train people that wish to join and show them how to use weapons and fight. It was like eventually he wanted to make a huge army that spread across the whole world. Kuma asked Dragon, how do you know how to use weapons? And Dragon response to that was, I used to be in the Navy for a short time, which we all know that. I hope y'all know that. But it was like he couldn't find justice in the Navy. Kuma tells him, I'm with you to the end, Dragon. And Jenny also.
You won't regret this.
After that, Kuma visited his old home and he started talking to the old people again. He just wanted to visit them to make sure they was all good, because Kuma is just a kind guy like that. They got the smile on all of their faces. They was just so happy to see my boy. The love is there. Next, after that, 8 more years passed and we cut to Jenny. She was very happy because she couldn't wait to meet back up with Kuma. But you see, somebody pulled up on them and they got caught off guard, leading them to kidnap Jenny. Once both Dragon and Kuma heard that news, they was shocked. But for Kuma, it hit the most, leading the episode to end there. And now we gotta wait another week to see what happens. Let me know what you guys think is gonna happen. It's crazy to see Kuma go through all of this, man. He's just a kind dude for real. He tries his best to help out people. He even take pain for people. He just does so much. But in the end all be all, something always bad happens to him or to someone he loves. But with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, man. Like I said, let me know y'all thoughts about this episode, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Also, y'all check out my other anime content, bro. I dropped a One Piece, I meant One Punch Man video and a Naruto video, so y'all go check those videos out, man. Show those some love, and I'll see y'all in the next one.